Hi, this is Teresa Duncan with Odyssey Management, and I wanted to share with you one of the frequently asked questions that I receive in some of my lectures. This comes up a lot. Usually I'm approached towards the end by a doctor who has heard my speech on reports and which ones to run, daily reports, weekly reports, monthly reports. And so the question that usually comes up is, which reports do I really need to look at? And what am I supposed to do with these reports? And then finally, who in my office needs to see these reports? So let's take this one at a time. So which reports do you find are very essential in the office? So that's the first question I ask. So one of the first tips that I would give you is to go back to my article database, because I have actually written for Dental Products Report an essential reports series. And so you'll certainly be able to look those up. But I do believe that you should be running your production and your collection, your adjustments, your new patient report, and I'm a big fan of running the insurance claim aging and the regular aging report. I'd like you to know where your accounts receivable is, and basically all of those numbers tied together. And I should say, with the new patient report is also your referral report, because along with every new patient should be a referral source. So, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Some of your practice management softwares have a large number of reports that you could run. You could kind of go a little report crazy. I'm not even getting into the clinical where we follow up on treatment plan and continuing care. Let's just focus on the numbers. So when you run those reports, what I'm looking for is how your practice is doing. How is your practice performing? Is it meeting goal? Have you set goals? Many times when we work with our younger doctors, they haven't set goals at all. That's okay. There's always a starting point. So basically, you should take a look at your history. And was it profitable? And that's something that you want to talk to your accountant about. Was it profitable? What was your gross profit? What was your net profit? Which is very different than your production and collection. So talk to your CPA about that. If those numbers are acceptable to you, then you know as a metric where your production and collections numbers should be. Do you need to raise it 5%, maybe 10%? Maybe you are blowing it out of the water. I hope so. So if that's the case, you take a look at these numbers and you look at it on a year basis, and then you plan out the rest of your year. Same thing with new patient reports. How many new patients can you comfortably handle? How many referrals how many referral sources do you have, and are any of them repeat? Are some of them insurance companies? Are most of them insurance companies? If that's the case, then maybe we need to take a look at your referral mix, because we don't want to have all of our eggs in one basket. And so, as you can see, there's a ton of other reports that you could look at. Now, the second part of this question is really, the third part, because we went over the reports and then what to look for. The third part of this report always centers on, well, I've got these numbers, now what do I do with them? Should I share them with the team? So it's up to you whether or not you want to share your profit and loss, your gross production versus your net production. I feel that that's a very personal decision that should be handled with you. But the production and the collection and the adjustments and the new patients and the unfilled hours, maybe you've got some open time in your schedule, there's no reason why that shouldn't be shared with the team. I mean, quite frankly, they could run those reports themselves. So not sharing that is it's a little silly, I have to say. The reason why I'm such an advocate of sharing it with the team is that you give them goals, you give them measurable statistics. When you go to when you are ready to give a review, if you don't have any metrics there to guide you in your review besides their performance, then it's hard for you to say whether or not they've made an impact on the practice. And also, don't forget, many of your team members are actually goal-driven. Some of them really like to see how they're doing through the month. And if you have a real go-getter collections person, if she sees that she's $5,000 off or $10,000 off, would she make a couple extra phone calls to try to collect up on some old balances? Probably. And then that will become habit. Your assistants should definitely see how your production and your collection and your adjustments are going. I think assistants many times don't see these numbers because it's seen that it's not necessary for them to see those numbers. You know, why? They're clinical. Why would they worry about the numbers? But remember, they're goal-oriented as well. Assistants are very detail-oriented. Numbers fall right into their wheelhouse. And if you have it posted and then you explain to them where we are and what the trends are, they'll pick it up and they'll believe in your practice vision along with you. So I also love that when we have a good new patient goal, we can see how that's measuring up. Are we meeting that goal? Everybody can share in that. And so The numbers, they're so important to your practice, but they're not just important to you. They're important to the rest of your team. So share that information and let everybody celebrate in how well you're doing. Please visit my website at odysseymgmt.com for more information, free webinars, and a ton of articles. Find me on social media and let's connect. Thank you.